One place Dalat's European legacy lives on is at its handsome train station, built by the French in the 1930s, blending Art Deco with the multi-roofed design typical of Vietnamese highlands towns. Despite this gorgeous train station, the only rail action this place sees these days is a small tourist train that ferries people back and forth to the village of Trai Mat, about 7 kilometers away. This once celebrated station on the inside is still very much intact. In fact, there are clocks on the wall that still remind you of the time in London, Paris, Hanoi, and New York. But for the most part, it's been turned into a glorified coffee shop with overstuffed furniture and large wood carvings. Except for the tourist train, real trains haven't run along this line since the 1970s. That's because during the Vietnam War, the country's main north-south rail line, to which this line connects, was blown to smithereens more times than one could count. To replace the damaged track as fast as possible, the then South Vietnamese government cannibalized the Dalat line, ripping rail out to fill in the gaps as quickly as possible on the main line. Since then, this gorgeous station has been little more than a relic of a short-lived era. There is original steam engine rolling stock here at the station, but it isn't rolling anymore. It's strictly been transformed into makeshift restaurants, cafes. So I've just bought a ticket on the train to Trai Mat. It's only a few kilometers away, and to tell you the truth, I wasn't planning on taking the train, but I arrived at the station at a convenient time to catch the next one, and they aren't too frequent these days. So I thought, why not? Okay, some of the romance just went out of it because that's obviously not a steam engine. I'm at the back of the second car, which turns out to be the last car. There's just car 1 and 2 on this train. Hello. Well, my seat is facing backwards, which is not my most favorite way to ride a train, but then again, I bought my ticket at the last moment. Train speeds are very slow, so there's no wonder that this 7-kilometer journey is scheduled to take 35 minutes. We just stopped and literally about 15 inches from someone's patio with their clothing on the line. But as it turns out, we're deboarding here because this is the train station. Well, I don't know what I was expecting exactly. Maybe an idyllic little village, but Trai Mat is not that. It's more like suburban Dalat. I'm pretty sure that was our train engine, so I hope he comes back. And in fact, he did. He's just switching ends. So I guess that means on the trip back to Dalat, I'll be in car 1 without ever having to move. Well, most of the people who were on the train sort of walked off en masse up ahead of me down this main drag street, and I think they're headed to a pagoda. I've seen enough pagodas in the last days and weeks. I'm going to walk until I find something that strikes my fancy to stop and see, and most probably that'll be a Hanoi beer if I can find it, and that's really not too likely this far south in Vietnam. In these parts, it's Saigon beer. Well, that's just about the funniest Buddha I've seen. It must be a rendition of Laughing Buddha, but the sign itself over that giant arch is just hilarious. And I see in the distance 2 pagodas, one on each side of the street. So I'm assuming that's where the larger group from the train ride has disappeared. Well, that's one of the more unusual Buddhas I've seen inside this temple, this pagoda. I'm referring specifically to the neon or LED multicolored light halo that surrounds his head. Well, there sometimes is something new under the sun. This is more of a commercial center, a marketplace adapted to amplify an existing pagoda. Such thing as a bad train trip, at least one that's as short as 35 minutes.